Good morning student. Today I will teach Rankine cycle and today's the topic is very interesting. Hope you are all are okay in your home. Stay home and be happy. So this is the cycle having the 4 accessories and 4 process. Okay. The first process starts from boiler, then to turbine, then to condenser, then pump. Okay, the first part is that in the process in between 1 and 2, which is between the turbine, it is the reversible adiabatic expansion. Actually, in Rankine cycle, every process is having the reversible process because all the process are in the equilibrium position or equilibrium state. And we all know that why all these process are in reversible, because in reversible process, if it is in reversible, then it must be in the equilibrium state. If it is in equilibrium, then it can become a cycle, so that its initial stage becomes equal to the final stage. That's why it is known as reversible process. Okay. If the cycle is a reversible, then all the process between 1, 2, 3 and 4 must be in equilibrium state. So let us start what happens in the 4 process. From 1 to 2, you can see that it is having reversible adiabatic expansion, because expansion takes place only in the turbine. Because of this expansion, the work can be done. Here the work output is positive because work is done by the turbine, and we know that when the work is done by the system, the work is considered as a positive. Next is 2 to 3 is reversible constant process heat rejection. Here you can see that from 2 to 3 you are considering as a constant pressure line having the heat rejection over here. Then 3 to 4 it is reversible adiabatic compression, and 4 to 1 it is reversible constant pressure heat addition. 3 to 4 from pump to boiler it is an reversible adiabatic compression, and 4 to 1 it is again reversible constant pressure heat addition, because 4 to 1 is having the state of constant pressure. Now I have to tell you what is the actual process is taking place in this cycle. First of all, inside the boiler, the working substance is liquid. We have to supply the heat. While supplying the heat, the heat supplied inside the boiler, the working substance that is in liquid state directly converted into vapor state or in the state of a steam. But the steam condition, it will be in 3 state. It will be in dry state, it will be in wet state, or it will be in superheated state. If it is in wet steam, then the position you can see in the PV diagram, because this one is the Rankine cycle and I have drawn the PV diagram. From you can see that this is the black line is the actual cycle. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 is the actual cycle of the Rankine. Okay, so when the steam is wet steam, then the position will be the 1 dash to 2 dash, then the cycle will be 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 and 4, and P1 P2 consider as the P1 is the boiler pressure, okay, and P2 is the condenser pressure. Then again the steam, if it is in dry saturated, then the position will be 1 to 2, means 1, 2, 3, 4 is in the again in Rankine cycle. If it is in superheated position, superheated state, then the line it will cross over the vapor dome, that is 1 double dash, 2 double dash, which will be 1 double dash, 2 double dash, 3 to 4. Okay. You can see that from 1 dash, 2 dash, 1, 2, 1 double dash and 2 double dash. The position of steam, here it will be wet steam, here it is dry steam, and here is superheated steam. This part is superheated region and this part is the saturated This part is the subcooled region, this one is the saturated liquid line. But the process from 2 to 3, I have told that it is a constant pressure, okay, because it is then reversible constant pressure heat rejection 2 to 3 and reversible constant pressure heat addition. Okay, so when the steam gets strikes over the turbine, inside the turbine the blades of the turbine rotates and it generates the power which will be converted into electricity. Okay, whatever the remaining steam left over inside the turbine, it will comes to the condenser which is having a cooling tower inside it, and the condenser act as a heat exchanger. That's why this steam, the remaining steam comes under the condenser, becomes in a liquid state. That state may be in the saturated one or in a simple liquid form. Okay, this liquid again goes to the pump. It will inside the pump, it will store inside it. Okay, but in the condenser you can see that it is act as a heat exchanger because it rejects the heat from the condenser, so that the phases of the vapor or steam can be converted into liquid. This liquid will be again transferred to the pump, which helps in pumping the water to the boiler. While pumping the water, the work is done on the pump. That's why the work done on the pump is taken as negative, because we all know that work done on this system is always negative. Okay, then this pumping, then this liquid will transfer to the boiler. Again we have to add the heat by the blast furnace or any heat source from this boiler. Inside the boiler the heats get evaporated or heats get heated, then this liquid stage will be converted into vapor or steam. Now you can see in the TS diagram. In TS diagram, this 1 dash 2 dash is the wet steam, 1 to 2 is the position of dry saturated one that I have already told you, and 1 double dash 2 double dash is the superheated position. Here the 1 double dash that considered can be T double dash, which is the highest maximum temperature over here, because this one is the superheated part. That's why the temperature is very high. And this area 2 dash, and this one is 2 and this one is 2, and you can see that here the P1 is the boiler pressure, here is the P2 is the conditioner pressure, and here from 4 to 1 dash or 4 to 1 double dash, here only the heat is supplied over here. Here more heat is required to reach the position for the 1 double dash. So you can see that if this much, if you can, I have to draw this dotted line over here. Okay, see, this much is area is considered, this much is area is considered while the heat is added over here. Again this much is area is considered when the heat is added over here, and this much of area is considered while heat is added up here. Means while to reach the 1 dash or T dash maximum temperature, we need this much of area of heat. Means we require large amount of heat, large amount of latent heat. Okay, now you can see the in HS diagram. Similarly, same case, 1 2 is the dry saturated, 1 dash 2 dash is the wet steam, 1 double dash 2 double dash is the superheated steam. Actually the cycle is considered as 1 2 3 4, and these all are the isenthalpic process. Means the heat is changes over here, the position of heat is changes over here. Okay, so this one is the actual work done by the turbine, actual work done by the turbine, and actual work done by the pump. Okay, work done on the pump. Similarly, you can see that H double dash, H1 double dash, here H1 dash. This H1 double dash is getting the more area of heat, means it requires large amount of latent heat. That's why H double dash is greater than H1 dash than H1, because here is the highest temperature and highest enthalpy over here. Similarly, 2 double dash will be the highest H2S, okay, H2 double dash, H2S and H2S single dash. Here the covering area is up to this much, and you can see the having the larger maximum area will having the highest number of enthalpy, or highest latent heat is considered over here. Same here, it will be WT, and here it will be WP. Now you can see that here the work on the pump handles only the liquid water which is incompressible, okay, because up to from this to this the state of water is saturated liquid state, okay. That's why the work on the pump handles the liquid water which is an incompressible, means its density or its specific volume sorry, little change with the increase in pressure. That's why you have to neglect the work on the pump. That's why you consider the WP must be considered as negligible work, because it's because the liquid water which is stored inside the pump, it is incompressible, and its density and its specific volume just changes with the increase in pressure, because the pressure has been increased over here. Look at this 0.4 at state 4 to 1, or this one, or this one, you have to increase the pressure over here. You have to add this much of pressure over here. That's why the pumping work is considered as a negligible. Now we have to consider the each part as a steady flow energy equation. Earlier we know that what is the steady flow energy equation. In every steady flow energy equation, you have to negligible the kinetic energy and potential energy, and you have to consider as a unit mass of basic unit mass of fluid, means 1 kg of fluid. So on applying the steady flow energy equation on each process, we get that first of all we have to consider in boiler. Look at this equation. It has been written that H4 plus Q1 is equal to H1. Why I have written like this? Here this H4 enthalpy is getting added to the heat supply, so that it will go to the position of H1. So we have to write like this: H4 plus Q1 is equal to H1, because here the enthalpy at 0.4 H4, it requires something, some heat added, so you have to add the heat Q1 inside the boiler, which will become as a H1. So Q1 is equal to H1 minus H4. Similarly in turbine, here H1, we have the work is done by the system, which is equal to WT plus H2. Here the enthalpy is H2, therefore the WT is equal to H1 minus H2. Similarly in condenser, we have to require the again heat is rejected over here. That's why I have written equal to. That's why H2 is equal to Q2 plus H3, which is equal to Q2 is equal to H2 minus H3. Similarly in pump, we have to require this much of enthalpy, we have to need it, we have to require it. So H3 plus WP is equal to H4. This WP you can write it as H4 minus H3. Now you already know that what is the efficiency of any cycle, you know that net work done by the heat supply. So in efficiency of runtime, W net by Q1, which is equal to Wt minus Wp by Q1. Here Wp should be considered as a negligible to 0, because I have already discussed why the pumping work is considered as a small or a negligible. Now put the value of Wt H1 minus H2, similarly as Wp H4 minus H3 by Q1 is having the H1 minus H4, that is H1 minus H4. So this one is the actual efficiency of runtime, which is equal to H1 minus H2 by H1 minus H4. So the next class I will teach you what is the actual Rankine cycle and what are the losses is considered inside the Rankine cycle. Further, next I will tell you what is reheat cycle and regenerative cycle. Thank you.